Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where we roast humanity's greatest hits. Today we're talking about how a bunch of hairless apes from Africa accidentally took over the planet while probably trying not to die horribly. Around 300,000 years ago in Africa, early Homo sapiens were evolving and making terrible life choices. Then, roughly 70,000 to 60,000 years ago, a small suicidal group decided, screw this savanna, and wandered out. No passports, no snacks, just some rocks and the delusion they could survive anywhere.
They weren't brave explorers. They were desperate refugees fleeing droughts, predators, and each other. Small bands of 20 to 50 people. Tight-knit hunter-gatherer crews who shared everything because hoarding meant everyone starved. Life was constant fear mixed with wonder at new horizons, all while wondering if today's bad decision would end the bloodline. These geniuses hugged the coasts because getting lost in the desert sounded like a quick way to become bleached bones. How did they figure out directions without a compass? They didn't. Compasses were still 60,000 years in the future. They navigated by staring at the sun, stars, landmarks, animal migrations, and ocean currents, basically playing depressed astronomer every night and praying the sky didn't lie. By 40,000 years ago, they'd reached Europe, meeting Neanderthals. Things got messy with some interbreeding, science speak for getting freaky. But the real fun? Brutal winters hitting -20 to -30 Celsius, scarce fuel, saber-toothed nightmares, and diseases they'd never seen before. Small groups meant low genetic diversity, so one bad infection could wipe everyone out. Yet they adapted with tailored fur clothes, bone-fueled shelters, and pure spite. They absolutely had language. Complex spoken communication was already wired into their brains by the time they left Africa, probably 135,000 years ago or earlier. No grunts and pointing. They could plan hunts, warn about dangers, share stories around the fire, and coordinate the next suicidal raft trip. Society was mostly egalitarian. No kings, just fluid bands, where decisions came from whoever knew the terrain best that day. Women hunted and gathered too. Sharing meat wasn't charity. It was survival insurance. Around 50,000 to 65,000 years ago, some mad lads in Southeast Asia looked at the ocean and thought, yeah, let's raft across open water up to 90 kilometers. One wrong wave and your entire family becomes shark snacks. They made it to Australia anyway, painting art while dodging venomous everything in a land that wanted them dead. The emotional toll must have been brutal. Constant grief from lost loved ones, but also that addictive rush of new horizons. Up north, during the Ice Age, Beringia Land Bridge appeared because oceans were frozen solid. Around 20,000 to 15,000 years ago, humans crossed it or hugged the Pacific coast in boats, following the Kelp Highway like the world's most determined delivery drivers. Once in the Americas, they speed ran south, hunting mastodons while dodging ice sheets and unfamiliar predators. Again, no fancy tech, just sky navigation and group coordination through language. Challenges piled on. Starvation when herds moved, brutal terrain, isolation that could break even the toughest minds. Their emotional world? Full human range. Terror at night sounds, mourning dead children at horrifying rates, joy in successful hunts, and that restless itch to see what was beyond the next ridge. These weren't emotionless cavemen. They had the same brains as us, feeling every loss and triumph deeply while pushing forward. Imagine the sheer exhaustion of walking thousands of miles with kids and elders carrying everything you owned, while everything tried to kill you. Climate swings opened green corridors, then slammed them shut. Predators, injuries with no medicine, and the psychological grind of never knowing if tomorrow's water source existed. Yet their small, cooperative societies, built on storytelling, shared knowledge, and relentless adaptability, let them endure. This story comes from fossils, tools dated by radiocarbon, ancient DNA showing migration waves and interbreeding, plus climate and sea level records. Major sources include research from the Natural History Museum, National Geographic, and peer-reviewed papers in Nature and Science.